Alright, it's gonna be a short video. I just wanted to talk about consumption. I think it can go severely unnoticed, and we might not realize that a lot of the reasons behind some of our actions are for consumption. You might be thinking, what is he talking about? Essentially, what I'm speaking of is behavior in order to consume. Usually it's media, to be honest, or anything more as an excuse. And I've caught myself doing that a lot. I think even in literature, I find myself being interested in authors or learning about authors, movements, eras, in order to consume either more videos on said topic or to buy more books. Even the hobby of reading, sometimes it can be very consumeristic. I find myself, although I do read a lot, buying books a lot more than reading books. It's hard to equate, which one I'm doing more, but it feels like I'm buying a lot of books. And I'm thinking, dang, it's a very empty way to go about it, because you're always going to want to buy more books. And that's something that we all know, always wanting more or something. It's understandable. But I think a step further is the information consumption as well. Getting into a topic just so you can watch more videos on YouTube. So so there's other things to watch, or travel, save up money to travel, or fashion. Talk about fashion. Fashion is another great example where it's like learning more about fashion, about runway shows, so that you can consume a product that's more expensive, a product that's more of a signifier for something. It's just more consumption so that you can get Vogue runway. I feel like you're using it because now it's a hobby. I don't know. I feel like a true hobby is not something that requires you to consume. Your way to feel hobbies where you're not consuming. Sure, at a higher tax bracket can be something like cars, interior design, so be it. I'm just being wary of increasing consumption. There's a real void of silence in the world, and just in general. This is something that David Foster Wallace talked about, how there's just noise everywhere. And so nowadays I feel like we have people consuming and involving themselves in subgenres of music, of arts, for more consumption. I mean, look at people's Spotify Wrapped, the amount of consumption of music. It's like, gosh, man, you must listen to music more than you don't listen to music in your awake hours. Terrifying. Or Instagram Reels content. It's just consumption. I saw an interesting conversation in this Discord I'm a part of about fashion, and they were talking about just how they feel like the art is being produced and being engaged with, and that it's fallen off. And you hear similar conversations in literature discourse about contemporary authors and so on and so forth, and it's just about in every medium that seems to be the conversation, that the contemporary is lackluster. But I think it's hard because we're not only mass consuming, but we're consuming like garbage all the times. And so it seems that from top bottom it's just the same things that are being regurgitated, and I think there's just a lack of silence and creativity and imagination, and I think those things require non-consumption for them to flourish. You can't turn on the TV and not consume advertisement, brand campaigns, whatever the market's pushing out at you for you to consume more. Not sure if you guys have seen this crazy sci-fi movie about where these people put on these glasses and they can see reptilians in disguise, but one of the more interesting aspects of that film was the main character having the glasses and seeing brand campaigns for what they are. And I think a lot of things just say consume. Just even in the sense where a lot of YouTubers will tailor and create a artistic, subgenre or a niche within social media. And then at the end of it, they're just selling you a course, or they're selling you a Patreon, or they're selling you something else. There's just something for you to consume, because consuming the video wasn't enough. So if you want to see more videos to consume, and that's just sort of where at least in North America, where our economy kind of stands, where there is the requirement for constant consumption, because somebody's got to consume it. It seems like much of the world, especially China, is mass production. And I think that's interesting. I wonder what a society like that is like to live in. Obviously they're consuming a lot too, but I only live here, so I can tell you mass consumption. Saying it over and over, I'm beating a dead horse, but I think that dead horse is really beating us. I was thinking, even seems like everything's for the sake of the output and not the thing itself. And I don't know if people ever did their jobs just to do their job, but if we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have the internet, we didn't have technology, I think especially this generation, because of the pivotal switch that I'm hypothetically suggesting here, we would be so extremely bored that perhaps we would actually do our jobs just to do our jobs. But the point I'm making is that we don't. That people work so that they can make money, so that they can consume. And people do everything so that they consume, so that they can consume. And perhaps along the lines, imagine finding identity in that thing. The LARPing that I witnessed in this World Cup that just came and passed quickly as it came, and that actually no one cared about the individual moments within those spaces. What football is actually about. I don't even want to explain it. But football's falling off. These games are trash. But seeing first timers, new newcomers to the World Cup and to the tournament engage with it in a way that, again, was just for mass consumption. You have people buying jerseys of players they don't know a thing about. People walking with Brazil kits with no reason to support Brazil. Just because the jersey's yellow and we're seen as cool. But it's really just to consume something during the tournament. And I get it, man. I know why it's happening. It's like a sort of identity crisis in the midst of a feeling of desperation. Nobody feels like they know what to do with themselves, right? And consumption gives you a drug. It's a temporary feeling of numbness, I would say. It's not static or elation. It's more numbness, passivity of not being worried about who you are, what you are, and what you're doing in the moment, but also not feeling completely fulfilled. It's just consumption is temporary, sedation, satiation. But yeah, I think the LARPing made that more evident for me because I saw a lot of people consuming football videos, consuming football meme culture, the matches, the advertisements, the branding, the jerseys, the cleats, the style, the music. I didn't see that many people playing, to be honest. Like, I went to the field a ton of times during the World Cup and I saw some kids at the field, but everybody who was there knew how to kick a ball, so they didn't just start. They had maybe found some new motivation to go again. But I think that's interesting. It's like fashion has boomed, but I'm sure the boom in courses, classes on stitching and sewing didn't change much. Hey, but secondhand websites started flying out the door. Vintage clothing sold like crazy. I mean, even health. Man, the health industry. People will pay $20 for an Irwan smoothie and get subscription tiered based competitive grocery shopping. And people go to the gym and stuff, but we won't get away from our phones that literally cause cancer. It's on the warning, right? I don't know. Just seems all of our habits are for more consumption and more consumption for more consumption. And nothing is for the sake of the thing anymore, for the action. We're just void. Yeah, I don't mean to complain, but just an observation. It's something I'm trying to watch and take care of in myself because I do it too. I mean, the amount of books I haven't read is too many. And I think that's normal amongst readers and has always been, but it's a little bit different. But yeah, beware of consumption. You're consuming this video, consuming information, you're consuming my thought, and perhaps you should stop and ask yourself why. Yeah, there are better things to do than to just consume all the time.